Hello, welcome to my channel. This video is about fleets. It's intended for new players or players who are early in the game and maybe trying to figure out how it is that you need to do fleets. So we're going to talk about setting up to unlock the Abilities Material Challenge, which is very important, how to do that, and the Brilliant New Plan. For anyone who doesn't know, I recently restarted playing a second account, and I'm learning things all over again the second time, sharing that with other people so that it's easier for them as well. In order to get to this challenge, we looked at Tier 3. The reason why this is so important, remember, Tier 3 Fleet Challenge gives us Zeta materials. We've got to unlock this as soon as possible. So every time this challenge comes up during the week, we can do it at the highest level and get those Zeta materials coming into the account as soon as we can. So we looked at the requirements. At level 78, we need to have 5-star ships or higher. We need to have 6 of them and a 5-star Executrix capital ship. So we made up a plan to go ahead and do that. The plan was to get these 6 ships going: the TIE Silencer, Sokatano, Clone Sergeant, Geo Spy, Geo Soldier, and Plo's Jedi Starfighter. Yeah, the plan was going well until I went to get the 5-star Executrix. It just opened up when I hit level 75. Now, I did not remember this and I did not expect it. The prior tier has no requirements on what kind of ship you need to go along with the Executrix to open this up. But for Tier 4, dark side ships only. And you can see required ships, 4 out of 5. We don't have the 5th ship. We can't get our 5-star Executrix. Therefore, we would not be able to open up that challenge in a few levels. So we're going to have to make some quick adjustments and get back on track. The easiest way to adjust for this, we do have 4 out of the 5 ships already. And if we need to have 1 ship that we can take up, and it needs to be 4 stars to get this 5-star ship. So the easiest ship to get to 4 stars quickly is the Imperial TIE Fighter. And that it comes out of the shops. It's very common in the fleet shops. There's a fleet hard node for it. So we'll be able to pick up shards for this and get this Imperial TIE to 4 stars and then later to 5 stars with no problem. The pilot is on Cantina node 4B, and we could level up this pilot, but I think for where I'm at with the account, because I already started doing something different, I'm just going to leave this ship at a low level and leave the pilot at a low level. You only need the stars to unlock it, so maybe I'll need to level it up when I actually get into the challenge, if the challenge is hard enough that I actually need the ship to be good. But anyway, that'll be my adjustment. And then the 6th ship, because for the next level, we're going to need 6 5-star ships to unlock a 6-star Executrix. So we still have to figure out a 6 dark side ship. And the other ship that would be real easy to get is the First Order TIE Fighter. But we really don't want that ship ever. So on my main account, you can see this is my fleet arena fleet that I use with Hux and the Finalizer at 7 stars. And if you look at this lineup, the TIE Fighter that you see there is the Special Forces TIE Fighter, and the regular First Order TIE doesn't even make the lineup up front, and it doesn't make the lineup as one of the reinforcements either. So I had to, of course, you have to do that ship as part of the quest to get Kylo Ren, I believe. But yeah, that's not a ship that we want to go after unless it's a requirement for something. So I really want to avoid doing that. The Hound's Tooth is obviously one of the best ships in the game, if not the best ship in the game. It's really a ship that's annoying to deal with. It has protection regeneration. It's a very good tank. It has the ability to remove debuffs from itself. So the Hound's Tooth is so good that you have to plan to deal with it. And any ship that is so good you have to plan to beat it is got to be one of the best ships in the game. So we'd love that to be our 6th ship, but that is really going to take a long time to farm to 5 stars, and it doesn't come out of any of the stores, at least that I'm aware of. So we're kind of stuck just farming that forever. The B-28 extinction bomber, on the account that I'm talking about, my second account, I did plan to do the Sith Marauder, so I have the pilot for this already in the works, but it's the same as the Houndtooth. Just farming it off of a node really will take a long time. The TIE Advanced Vader ship, it's in the fleet stores. It's in you get some shards for quests, and it's got a fleet node in 4B hard, so it takes a little while to unlock that node, but you can get to it reasonably soon. So this is probably the best option. Unfortunately, since I've started down a different path, there is the option of Slave 1, which is also in the fleet store. It's on a fleet node, and for me it has a better reinforcement skill, so I'm actually going to end up going for Slave 1 as my 6th ship on the account that I'm playing, but I think for a brand new account, the TIE Advanced would be the best option. And again, the pilot for Slave 1 is Boba Fett, and I've already got Boba Fett at 7 stars and worked on his gear, so that's a good option. But for a new account, you could work on Darth Vader's ship and never bother with Boba Fett, just work on Vader and the TIE Advanced. So if I was starting up a new account again, and I may even do this a third time just for practice, but I would still do the TIE Silencer. That ship is awesome, the 3 GO ships. And this is how I would set up my initial opening for the Grand Moff Tarkin and Executrix as the capital ship. I would put in the Silencer, Sunfac, and the Soldier. My first reinforcement would be the GO Spy, and the TIE Advanced, and the Imperial TIE. So I think that's the best fleet to go for, and it really has a neat early benefit that I didn't think about before when I was setting up my plan. So with the TIE Pilot, if you develop the TIE Pilot as a character because you wanted the ship, he comes out of a Cantina node, so you could farm that. Tarkin comes out of the Arena Store currency. Vader you're getting from Quest and Fleet, and he's always going to be worth building. We're going to build Stark on the account to go with a Imperial Troopers team, but if you just have an Imperials team, Stark is not bad, and his skill buffs Empire allies, so it would still buff everybody. It's not great, but it's good. He and you could get him to 5 stars easily with this guild store currency, and if you wanted to take him all the way up to 7 stars, and I'll show you the reason for that. Well, you see the reason for that down here, but it's easy to build him out of the Cantina store or the guild store, and then the Stormtrooper comes out of the Cantina battle store, so the tokens that you get from farming Cantina, you can then go in there and buy Stormtrooper. And since these characters all come from different sources, they're not overlapping with each other if you wanted to get shards. And if you wanted to get in there early game and just rack up the shards on these guys, it makes a good enough team right away, and you could get a really fast unlock of R2-D2. And if you took all these guys to 7 stars, you could get your R2-D2 to 7 stars. So that's pretty neat. And then as you started opening up Emperor Palpatine, of course, you would replace Stark. And then when you get another good Empire character of some sort, or maybe Count Dooku or somebody else who fits in with Vader, you could replace the Stormtrooper, and then build up your Imperial Trooper team separately. But this is a nice way to get to a legendary character really quick, as well as getting the fleet. And then we're going to need the same thing for light side, because if you need dark side ships to unlock the Executrix, you're going to need light side ships to unlock the home one for Akbar. And the ship currency challenge does use home one, and we do want to get that up to the highest level as well. So that takes a little longer. I would suggest not trying to force that. Right now I do have that option. I mean, that's my other option. I could go for for home one and just try to build this fleet up. But there's too many ships that I want that are good, that I'm building the characters for anyway, that are better if I wait. So you got Ahsoka, you got the Clone Sergeant, you've got Anakin, Fives, Plo, and then the Ebon Hawk for me is a great ship, and you can farm it off of a Cantina node, so it's not that hard to get the Ebon Hawk going. So I'm going to wait a while longer, and I'm going to wait for these ships to kind of build up on their own, and then we'll get Akbar going, and we'll get the light side stuff going for those challenges to the next levels. There is a light side rebel fleet, and obviously if especially if people are going with the Phoenix route early on. You get the Ghost and the Phantom too that go with the Phoenix, and then maybe you want to do a Rebel ship route and get your Millennium Falcon. Well, for the Millennium Falcon, you need bounty hunters, so it's going for the Millennium Falcon early or trying to unlock these things with the Millennium Falcon is pretty tough without the hyperdrive bundle. If you're just doing the game either free to play or not doing the hyperdrive bundle. But I would say if you're going to do the Rebels, the Rebel Y-Wing is really good, and it's going to take a while to farm that, but you want to wait for it. That is really critical to your fleet if you're going to do Rebel fleet. Biggs is good. He's good enough that you can get him early game. Wedge is not. Wedge is easy to get, but I wouldn't want to build the Wedge character. I wouldn't want to build Wedge's ship. His ship is mediocre. His character is bad. That's a bad combination for you to have to build. You can salvage that by going for an early Mon Mothma, and Mon Mothma would take some of these less useful pilots and turn them into a good team for you. So there is some synergy there where if you wanted to go with the Rebel fleet, you could build a Phoenix team and you could build a Mon Mothma team with your leftover Rebel fighters. So it's not bad, but it takes a while, and I would wait for some of these better ships. Cassian's U-Wing, that comes out of the Cantina currency store as well, and that's a really good ship, and you need 3 pilots to get that going, but the Rogue One crew. But it's a good ship, and from before, if you looked at my lineup, I actually used that because the reinforceability where it comes in and it strips all buffs off of the opposing fleet is really strong. And when you're fighting against negotiator fleets later, or any fleet, even a Rebel fleet, being able to bring that in, strip all the buffs, it reveals Millennium Falcon, and you can just shoot Millennium Falcon out of the sky. So that ship has a lot of uses, and you won't regret putting money into it. And then again, the Ebon Hawk is a really good ship. It's a really good reinforcing ship, and you're never going to regret. It's not necessarily Rebel, but it's a light side ship that you're never going to regret building. You'll be able to fit it in with almost any fleet that you end up building later on. Okay, so if we go over to the account real quick, take a look at what's going on over there. You can see I've started working on my Imperial TIE Fighter a little bit. I got 26 more shards to go to get him up to 4 stars, and then I'll be able to start doing those unlocks. You can see the ships that I've already built. Sunfac is coming along pretty well. That's going good. And I do need to start investing in my Executrix because I like to leave capital ships at low level if I'm not using them. I don't want to build up the galactic power, but since it looks like I'm going to end up having to use this as my capital ship after all, I'm going to have to start investing in that and bringing up the levels and bringing up the skills on that. And again, for the TIE Fighter, I'm leaving it at level 1. Again, I'll have to see if I actually need to level it up to be able to get through these challenges. But for right now, I'm just going to put the stars on it and see if I can leave it somewhere in reinforcements and never bring it in, and that would be better. So also what that means, because I'm going to have to bring up Slave 1 as one of my high star ships, that means that I'm going to leave Clone Sergeant alone here for a while. He's going to sit at 5 stars, and I don't think I'm going to bring him up to 6 stars unless I have to. I'll make that decision later. For anybody who's watching my channels, watching this channel for the other videos, I did a modding video the other day. I put these mods on my characters and they weren't level 15. Over the last couple days, that's what I've spent my money on. I've got everything up to 15 on the Spy. I took everything up to 15 on the Soldier. And I had a bunch of slicing materials that I got for free from the Thanksgiving Day or the anniversary gift that they gave. So I went ahead and sliced up a couple of these mods and got them to the rare level, and so these guys are looking pretty good now. This guy's crit rate is really 76%, so he's got a good chance of triggering his passive ability to gain turn meter every time he goes. So that's where the count's at. That's where the ships are at. Hope you're enjoying this channel. If you are, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, watch more videos as they come out. Thank you all.